Welcome back to a Crypto Ski Conversation. I'm going to try to be as brief as I can in this one, man. It's been a long week already. We're only on Tuesday, man. We got all this new hire teacher training and stuff we got to go through, getting ready for the school year. We start next week in the high school level. So just a lot of sitting, a lot of the monotonous stuff, man, and on top of life in general, the everyday stuff. But man, I'm feeling drained today, and it's crazy. We're so early in the week. So I'm gonna try to just jump straight into the stuff. Okay, so we're gonna start with this one from Digital Asset Investor says, "Let me translate. There will be only one digital asset with legal, not the opinion of current regulators, clarity until 2025 XRP." So we kind of speculated about that on this channel as well. Obviously with XRP being the only one that actually got lawful and a ruling from Judge Torres in regards of its XRP's security status. But this was from a Twitter Spaces called XRP Deep Dive with John Deaton, Simon McLaughlin, and Dr. Martin Heisboek or Beck. Butchered that. But yeah, let's take a quick listen into this.
As you see the Republicans candidates ramping up, we're going into an election year, and it's going to be very difficult to imagine a bill passing the House and the Senate and signed by President Biden before 2025. And so I think there's a lot of work that's going to get done until then, but I'm still negative that we're going to actually see a law passed into law, unfortunately.
So, I mean, JD, I mean, he's kind of talked about that before, maybe this Ripple or SEC versus Ripple ruling is literally the only litigation we're going to have to build off of and try to work with until 2025, if that's the case. So that could be a scenario, man. There's a lot of moving parts. We're going to talk a little bit more about this whole ETF stuff again toward the end here. Continuing on, this was some exciting news. Blockchain Backer was on vacation, had a little reset for himself, which is great. Shout out to the homie, man. But he's talking about, the XRP chart and what it looks like. So this is XRP versus the US dollar on this Bitstamp chart here. He says, after consolidating for 1 year and 2 months, XRP broke out of its Wyckoff accumulation once it was deemed not a security. And it says XRP is very close to back testing the breakout level. So he was saying this. Let me zoom in. Yeah, he was talking about this possibly in us even hitting the high 50s, when we were up here almost close to $1. You know what I'm saying? So, when he was talking about that stuff, talking about the probabilities or possibilities of it happening, you have people saying, how could you? We got the win and the major victory. But he was just saying, based on the charts and how things are, we could see this. But then again, we could not. But it's crazy how accurate this gentleman is, man. He's solid. Even this one right here says XRP BTC has been stuck underneath the 200-week moving average for over 4 years. XRP broke out once it was deemed not a security and is now very close to back testing the 200-week moving average breakout level. So if he's talking about this right here, this is over 4 years under this this moving average here, this 200-day moving average, and we finally shot out once we got past the we got the victory in the SC versus Ripple lawsuit. So he's saying we're getting ready to back test this. Are we going to hodl? Are we going to bounce off of this 200 moving average and utilize it as support, or is we gonna break under it and deal with the possibility of it being a resistance again? And he has his finger crossed here. So kind of sitting on our seats, but then again, a lot of excitement as well, right? And you're going to see and understand more of it, what I mean by that going through this video. Coming on this one, kind of calling out the Winklevoss twins, and Gemini says, expressing excitement about XRP, right? And then BC Backer says, considering XRP has been the only digital asset declared as not being a security in the court of law, I'd say so. Also, a little later to relist, to the relist party. Gemini, let's get this thing done. So we've been talking about how they should have been on it just like everybody else was on it when they relisted it. But from my understanding, I don't think Gemini had XRP listed on their platform. So I don't know if it's a relist, let alone it actually being a listing. So just a waiting game to kind of see what happens. I don't know how many people actually utilize the Gemini platform. I'm assuming they have to have a crap ton of users to still be in business, granted everything that we've experienced in the crypto market. So continuing on here, I thought this was an interesting poll from Wellchart. It says on what blockchain is the future of DeFi? You have Ethereum, Cardano, BNB chain, and then XRP Ledger. And I thought this was kind of interesting. Cardano still has a strong community and voting base based on. I guess I could have updated. Let me see. Try to update it. It says 11,990. Let's see what it does. Yeah, still the same thing. So yeah, 6 days left on this thing, but Cardano's sitting strong, man. And obviously Charles Hawkinson's in ADA and Cardano and just the community in general, like and what they're trying to do. They have that whole approach of like, we're gonna move slow and methodical and continue to build. So, this could have some validity, but obviously on this channel, in this community, I'm a big XRP Ledger advocate. So to see them, in a relatively close second, that's huge. I'm curious to see how this thing ends in the next 6 days, but we're going to move on here. Mr. Huber had put this up, and this is going to tie into a lot of what I talked about in my last video, talking about, Jason Foster and Empower Oversight, and we talked about it before. I think this was like a year and a half ago, or maybe a year ago, when we first started learning about Jason Foster and Empower Oversight. So whenever they first jumped in, we covered it on this channel right away, and one of the big themes that we talked about was, and I can't take credit for it, it's JD and the legal minds in the community, but we were speculating and conversating about how when this thing is over, whether Ripple the company won or lost, it wasn't going to be over. Jason Foster and Empower Oversight were already in the hunt, and they're going to continue to hunt until they get justice, right? So obviously we're seeing that now. So now we're bringing up the whole hashtag ETHgate stuff, and things are really starting to heat up for him and the shady actors within the government, right? So Mr. Huber says, as Brad Garlinghouse said, on the right side of history, not just the right, you really have to hear his words in the context of all the stuff we now know. So then he puts up the screenshot with all this stuff. It says back up from the issue. This is when Brad Garlinghouse and them were trying to get out of purgatory, right? They're trying to figure out how can we move forward, how can we do things the right way. And then you have the EEAA legal working group, and you have Simpson Thatcher down here. What would you rather? Would you prefer that I be alone on the call? So this is Joseph Lubin. Just a lot of just shady stuff, right? So coming out here, let's play this real quick.
At best, these documents show that senior officials at the SEC couldn't agree on the law and told Bill Hinman directly he would confuse the public even more about the rules for crypto. At worst, they show that Hinman deliberately ignored the law, and he tried to create new laws, something only Congress can do. And while he was a public servant, Hinman received millions of dollars of payments from his law firm, which was part of an alliance with others that had a vested interest in this speech. This speech isn't about any one token or any one blockchain. This is about showing the extent to which the SEC has relentlessly pursued enforcement actions against crypto players while professing fake open arms and calls to come in and register, all the while lying about their so-called guidance. As some of you may know, Ripple spent years proactively engaging with the SEC.
So yeah, I mean, that's something that's been evident, and it's right here. This is just another segment and another meeting, if you will, where they were trying to get clarity, and they were trying to figure out, hey, what does it look like? What is the what's the playbook? What's the rule book, so we can learn how and know how to proceed? They're trying to get out of purgatory. It says it right here, and you may not be able to see it, but yeah, it says it right there. So that's just an example. But yeah, they've been trying to work with them, but what happened? They still had their behind the door or closed door, behind the door, shady conflicts of interest deals in the, to where the rest of the industry didn't have access, but just Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Just the shady actors in the Ethereum community, if you will. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Ethereum, the digital asset, and I don't want it to be hindered or stifled or suppressed, none of that. But I'm saying when we're talking about hashtag ETHgate and the bad actors, that's what I'm talking about, okay? So yeah, man, it's crazy. And like he says, for the stuff we know now, man, it's crazy to think like how right we were and how validated we are. But the thing is, does it really mean anything if justice isn't truly served? Obviously, the SC versus Ripple victory, massive, right? That's justice, right? But the fight isn't over. We're talking about opening an investigation, right? Talking about an investigation. Crypto Law US had put this out. It says, this is JD in Crypto Law US. It says, Now that the new trove of emails released by Jason Foster and Power Oversight prove that Hinman broke the law, there is no excuse left for the SEC Inspector General to ignore the demands for an investigation. And members of Congress can demand that the SEC IG refer evidence to DOJ. So, I wonder if I'm going to play this. Maybe I'm not. But this was that whole video that JD and Crypto Law had produced that pretty much put it in a nice little 2-minute segment of just the shady behavior between Hinman and his connection to the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance and the whole hashtag ETHgate, and just put it in a nice little pretty package with a nice pretty bow, right? That's pretty much what this is, and I'm sure a lot of us have seen it, so I'm not even gonna waste your time here with my video, but I'm not saying in reference to JD and Crypto Law's video. I'm talking about just me sitting here. You can check it out. But yeah, man, it's not over. Jason Foster, Empower Oversight, and the rest of the community, JD, we're going to continue to apply the pressure and continue to fight. As you can see, there's a lot of pressure that Chairman Gensler's under, and I guarantee the shady people, the corrupt people, aren't sleeping well at night, and they are extremely sweaty, and I believe that. Continuing on here, speaking of dimes to donuts, it says news. Galaxy CEO Mike Novogratz said the Ripple ruling, quote, sent shockwaves through the SEC. You're talking about pressure, right? We know it applied a lot of pressure, and yeah, it rattled the hell out of Chairman Gensler and the SEC and those corrupt individuals. But like, even, just me in my opinion, this cat knew some. He was an insider. He had inside information. I mean, he said it himself. He's an inside man, right? You know what I'm saying? And I heard in the community, people were speculating about, maybe he invested in Ripple early or whatever, just so he can kind of have that as like a scapegoat. Like, oh no, like I'm an investor, and I just didn't understand, the digital asset XRP. It just didn't make sense to me. Whatever he spills that stuff in those videos, but it's like, nah, he knew what's up. Just like the other cats that said they were short in XRP. It's all shady, man. And the cool part is, and I'm not going to go crazy on this because I can, but the thing is I just think about myself. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of individuals like myself, single fathers, single mothers, married couples, families with kids, trying to change the financial course of their life, straining and working their butt to the bone to change the financial outcome and the financial future for their families, right? But then you have individuals, corrupt individuals that have inside information, inside access, that are literally destroying, devastating, and blowing up even the slightest opportunity to achieve that goal. And we're talking thousands and thousands of people. Now, selfishly, I'm thinking for myself and for my boys, it infuriates me, man. And I just can't stand it. Just as much as I get so frustrated with that whole, you have to be an accredited investor to invest in this lucrative opportunity. It's like, what? I mean, wow, really? Let's level the playing field. You know what I'm saying? We're all grown adults, if you will, most of us. And, we work our butts off to, earn our money in our job and do it well and pay our taxes and pay our monthly expenses, take care of our kids and our families, right? And then anything we have left over, we should be able to do whatever we want with it. If we want to risk it and we lose it all, that's on us. And I understand, people can blow it, yada, yada, but okay. People should be able to make adult decisions, calculated and educated decisions and risks to change the financial course of their life. And you have individuals that blatantly and selfishly have inside information and just destroy that. That's crazy. That's another reason why the SEC versus Ripple victory was monumentous. And not just myself, I would be surprised if there weren't hundreds, if not thousands, of XRP community members that literally cried that day. And it ain't crying for sadness. It was literally tears of relief and joy. Some weight coming off of their shoulders. The thought that, like, man, we can make a difference in our family's life. We have a shot. It's crazy, man. I'm so excited. I'm so thankful we have the community we have. And you have the likes of Jason Foster and Empower Oversight and other individuals that are in positions to really make a big impact, that are going to continue to apply pressure and fight for justice and fight for what's right. And I hope all these shady people get what they got coming to them. Straight up. Anyways, DII says, after years in crypto, I've come to what I believe is an undeniable conclusion. There are a handful of crypto innovators who either work for the government or are labeled do not touch for one specific purpose, to make billions. They aren't tough to spot either. Just look at who is never touched, or if they are, it's a minor hand slap or meaningless fines. We have a huge corruption problem in the US. I mean, damn. Absolutely. I mean, literally spot on, over the target. This is solid right here. And, I could say a few names, and community members have been talking about it. I'm going to just kind of slow roll it and see if something pops up here. Oh boy, there's one. I mean, we can keep going. It's crazy, man. Eleanor Terra says, in a letter to Judge Kaplan filed today, the Justice Department says it plans to seek a campaign finance related charge against Sam Bankman-Fried FTX, which will be included as part of the superseding indictment folded into the wire fraud charge. The whole Sam Bankman-Fried FTX saga, I think something about like court or something, October, or forgot when the date was or something. But I know he had the ability to put his feet up and stuff, knowing that it was a long timeline. We'll see what happens with this, man. It's just crazy. We would have been locked up quick if we did anything remotely close to what happened with that gentleman and his business entities. So we covered this on last video, maybe the last two videos. So Kathy Wood saying that if the SEC may approve multiple spot Bitcoin ETFs, it may be at the same time. So obviously this isn't, it's not like a big surprise, right? Obviously when BlackRock submitted their spot Bitcoin ETF application, ended up getting pushed back to them saying it wasn't sufficient enough. And then they put Coinbase as their custody and surveillance partner. So everyone that had filed or that was going to file ended up following suit. So we can relatively say, besides the names, that the spot Bitcoin ETF applications are the same. So how could they possibly approve one and not the other? You know what I'm saying? So when it does happen, I agree. I think it may be multiple at once, especially the fact that Kathy Wood and them on the 13th is supposed to be their decision date. People have been speculating, even Kathy Wood saying, August 13th may come and, they may just delay it and say, hey, we got to push it a little bit further down the road for further evaluation. They're probably trying to time this thing, man. They're probably trying to time it to where, they do it at the pivotal and strongest point, whether it's politically motivated or whether it's, which I think it's a little bit of both, but maybe it's, to move markets in a certain direction. That's just me speculating. But hey, that's the game they play, man. Just like BC Backer says and DAI says, there are no coincidences, and it's crazy how things tend to happen in the charts as events tend to happen. It's almost like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, we got the SC versus Ripple summary judgment right on time. And when it comes to these technical analysis, and I don't know all the jargon and technical terms that he talks about, but he made a good point. It's like, that's interesting. It came right on time. Man, this space is a trip. I love it, though. I love this space, man. It really excites me. We're currently sitting at a $1.2 trillion market cap. Bitcoin sitting at 29,695. Ethereum sitting at 1852. XRP sitting at 63 cents. We were up at 64 cents. We were almost at like 4 or 5% today, which is huge. Bitcoin Fear and Green Index sitting at a neutral, man. Just a weighing game. A lot of excitement ahead. Make sure you come to the Crypto's Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto's Key 1. I really appreciate your support out there. And I did not mean to take 18 minutes. Dang. My bad, you guys. I appreciate the support and love, though. Be good. Oh, I can't end on that one. No, I can't end on that. Stay strong out there and be safe.